Hey everybody, my name is Frank Savino with the Key to New England team, and I'm here with my team member.
Bill Tisdale.
And we are here today to talk to you guys a little bit about what sellers need to do to get their house ready to sell on the market. We want to just talk about some tips and some different things that we do special here at the team to kind of help facilitate that whole process because it's definitely a daunting process.
Oh, definitely.
One of the biggest things that I find is that a lot of sellers, it's they're kind of like they don't know where to start. They're a little overwhelmed. Maybe it's a family, a large family, and they are daunted by the task of having to clean their whole house. What are some of the tips that you kind of try to give people when it comes to selling their house?
Definitely declutter it. You want to be able to walk through the house.
Hmm.
You don't want to have to walk around everything. You want to be able to visualize what it would look like when you're living
Yeah, I
there.
think that's really important. It
Yeah,
lets a buyer, see the house and see what they could do to the house. I mean, I think people understand that there's going to be somebody living there unless it's an empty house, and they're able to look past, a certain amount of things.
exactly. I would also suggest with that, take away some of the family pictures. Let them picture
Hmm.
themselves there, and not somebody else's family, like they're just coming over for a visit. You really want the people coming in picturing that they're able to live there. That's their home. They want to picture their life there, not see somebody else's life there.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I think that helps a lot. And just for your own personal view, you might want to just keep those types of pictures away from general public. Sometimes you might have people videoing through your house and stuff. So anything you wouldn't want getting out, beyond that is better just to tuck away safely. Which kind of brings us into another topic of like valuables and things like that. What do you kind of tell your sellers that they should do with like valuables and things that really important things, medicine, things like that?
Definitely all valuables. If you can, if you have a safe, lock them up, put them away,
Hmm.
out of sight, out of mind. Uh, that goes with your computers, your iPads, tablets, all that other stuff. Uh, Medicine, people will look in the medicine cabinet to see, to get an idea how they are.
Hmm.
So I would suggest maybe putting them elsewhere where people can't have access to the medicine. Uh, and if you do have any guns or any other type of weapons like that, if you don't have a safe,
Yeah.
put them in the trunk of your car. Do not leave them at the house. You don't want 20 million people walking through your house and have access to be able to grab one of those weapons.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, when it comes to those open houses, we always, as a team here, we always have two agents per open house so that we can really keep a good flow over the people going through the house, make sure we're there to answer questions and all that stuff. So, as you're preparing to get your house ready to go, these are some of the tasks and things that we'll say to kind of do. Another big thing that we talk about doing sometimes with sellers is doing a pre-inspection. So what a pre-inspection is hiring a house inspector to go through your home and inspect the house as if you were rebuying it again. And then what you can do is if you find any major faults that you are able to or want to address, you can address them before you even list the house on the market. And then a lot of times you can also just provide this report to any interested buyers who are interested in making an offer on the house. And a lot of times you can tell them, what's already been taken care of, what was found on this inspection report, and that can help them to make, a better decision about purchasing your home. They may still choose to do their own home inspection, which is fine. But a lot of the unknowns will be right there on that inspection report, and then something big won't come up during their inspection report and possibly throw off the whole deal. So we highly recommend those, and it's a good way to really have a smoother transaction all around, especially if maybe you said you've only been in the house a couple years, or you just have some concerns about the house.
Yeah, I mean, even if they haven't been in the house for a couple of years, if they've been in it longer,
Hmm.
that means
Better
everything
chance
there has been
something
in
could
there
have.
for longer. If they
Yep.
haven't had to replace anything, but as you said, it stops a major surprise happening
Yeah.
and possibly ruining the deal.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than having to get 2 weeks under contract and have an inspection, and then all of a sudden something big comes back, and then you have to start over. That's frustrating for everybody, the buyers and sellers. So for the price of an inspection, a lot of times it's really worth it. Um, what else do we like to talk to our sellers about doing before they go? And I know one of the big things is other than decluttering and depersonalizing, but it's just making the house feel as big as possible. So sometimes we tend to have a lot of big furniture and things like that in our house. And if you can pull furniture and place it in different rooms strategically, or if you can even start packing up, like sometimes I'll tell sellers that they can pack up part of their garage and pull stuff out of the house. Just because things like that is going to really help the house to have a larger feel as you've lived into it, and you're probably moving because you have outgrown the house. So what you want to do is make the house feel like there's still room for another family to move in there. So things like combining furniture into different rooms or adding furniture in rooms that doesn't have it. The other big thing is rooms that are specifically like a dining room, and maybe you have it set up as a play area or an office. Sometimes we recommend like restaging that as an official dining room, and things like that, just so that sellers and buyers and everybody going through the home can clearly see what that room is supposed to be intended for. And sometimes that helps to alleviate questions or unknowns.
Which also with the case with the staging part, working with us, we do have a staging company that,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can't call, have them set up. They can stage the whole house to make it presentable and improve the view of when people are looking at it.
Yeah. So what about, so say Bill, if you're working with a home that's just been recently refurbished, with an investor or a flipper or something, and we're getting the house ready to go on the market. A lot of times these homes are completely empty; they don't have any furniture. So one thing we could do, we talked about, was staging them. But I think another important thing we do as agents is really make sure that all those things on that final punch list have been done. Sometimes things get quickly done, and the house is put on the market quickly. So we as agents kind of take that third eye and go through the house, make sure everything is done. As far as what we can see, make sure everything is hooked up, make sure all appliances are ready to go. And then I guess a big thing would be like the yard and stuff too, right, Bill?
Yeah, before even the yard though, I would definitely suggest if the house is just remodeled,
Hmm.
hire a cleaning crew, come
Oh,
in,
yeah, good point.
clean the whole house because there's going to be dust and everything, which is expected when you remodel in the house.
Yep.
But you don't want people to come in and see dust all over the place.
Hmm.
Make sure that the windows are clean. There's no streaks. Just really make that house
Shine.
as shine
Yeah.
and make it the best in show. But for the yard, definitely that is another thing. Some people will actually drive by the house before we even have to show it to them.
Hmm.
So you want the yard looking presentable.
Yep.
You don't want leaves all over the yard, tree branches. You want the yard to look clean.
Yep.
Uh, that even comes down to if you have kids. Yeah, put the toys in the backyard. Try to keep the front yard looking as best as possible. That way, when the people do drive by, they're gonna want to actually say, "Hey, can we see the inside of the house?"
Yep.
If they look at the front yard and it's trashed, they're gonna assume the inside's like that, and they're not even gonna want
Yeah, a lot of
to
times
see
that could
the
be a major
inside.
turn off.
Yeah,
And then if you happen to be listing in the winter, obviously, you want to keep the outside maintained, for safety and everything, for showings and whatnot, which obviously, shoveling, simple things like that before open houses and showings, we can help you guys take care of, and things like that. But just overall maintenance of the exterior of the home. Whenever season you list, you just, like Bill said, it's the first impression that a lot of times your house will make on somebody. So it's really important to to do whatever you can. If it's spring and summer, maybe consider hiring a landscaper right before you
exactly.
list. Cut back any big bushes that are covering the house and windows. We had a listing recently in Providence that had a large overgrown bush, covering up a good like front of the quarter of the house. This was taken down and trimmed down to almost nothing, and you wouldn't believe the difference it made in the front of the house. And it brightened up the whole inside of the house. So just simple little things like that can really do a lot to stimulate more buyers to go through your home. And as we know, more buyers obviously is going to translate to hopefully more offers on your home, which is the way to get you the higher price for your home.
Exactly. I would also reach out to your mortgage company before.
Hmm.
That way, you know what your payoff is, so you know what you're going to possibly be able to walk away with at the closing table.
Hmm.
Uh, Frank, what's one way you help them know what they're going to be walking away with?
So we can prepare a net sheet, a seller's net sheet for them, and basically, that's going to go through all the majority of the expenses of the transaction, and then what they still owe on the home, and through some calculations, you can get them an idea of what they're going to net in their pocket. I always talk to them and explain that this is a rough estimate, and that the attorney that's working on the house and the lender can really get those final numbers all together and get a seller's net sheet. But this is a way of estimating and a seller to know exactly, approximately, I guess I should say, what they're going to be able to walk away with from the sale. And that's important for them to know and for you to know if you're selling right from the get go, because that's going to show how much flexibility you have. If it comes to maybe needing to do a small price reduction, or if somebody asks for closing costs to be covered or something like that, all those things will affect your net price. So if you know what you're walking away with, or if you have a certain number that you really need to or want to walk away with, maybe you're making another purchase after you're selling your home. That's important to talk about right from the get go as well. We talk about that right on day one with a seller's consultation. So anything else you wanted to talk about today, Bill, with in regards to getting sellers getting their houses prepped or that process?
Well, definitely another thing is when we do show up, make sure whoever's on the deed
Mhm.
is there to talk with us, because we do have to talk to everybody who owns the house,
Yeah.
unless there is somebody who is legally able to represent the trust or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, anybody on the deed, we are going to have to be there, because we can't do our job without everybody who's on that deed signing off for us to actually do what we need to do.
Yeah, everybody has to be in agreement. Everybody has to sign all the listing paperwork. So it's important to make sure that if you are looking to sell your home and there are multiple people on the deed, or if it's a trust with multiple family members, that everybody kind of gets together, gets on the same page, and ideally is there for that first meeting throughout the
Exactly.
process to to answer any questions or ask questions about how the whole process will go through. So we just find that that really helps to keep the process running smoothly. In this day and age, everything can be done digitally too. So, say you have relatives that are out of town, we can bring them in on a Zoom call, and everybody can sit down together and still have that conversation. And paperwork can all be digitally signed nowadays.
Exactly.
So, everything can be done. It's just a matter of needing to know that information right up front. So, well, we appreciate you guys joining us today for some information on getting ready to sell your house. If you are interested in selling your house, please feel free to reach out to us here at the Key to New England team. I'm Frank Savino. This is Bill Tisdale. And we would love to sit down and talk with you about how we can help you get your home sold for top dollar. If you're a buyer looking to buy a great home too, obviously we help with that. So we hope to hear from you guys soon, and send us a link or send us a comment. Send us a
Send us a comment, like the video, and subscribe.
Yes, yes. Send us a comment, or if you have any questions, feel free to send us a message or reach out to us, and we'd love to help. All right. Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day.
Gotta have those bloopers in there somewhere.